Welcome to Relation Tales. Please like this video and subscribe Relation Tales. We're grateful for each and every one of you. Let us know where in the world you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's begin. Michael Hayes had never been the type to snoop. At 32, he lived a disciplined life. Early morning runs, structured workdays and IT operations, weekend dinners with close friends. His fiancée, Vanessa Cole, was the opposite. Magnetic, social, always pulling attention to herself. For 3 years, they had built what he believed was a balance. His quiet steadiness grounding her restless energy. Or so he thought. That Tuesday night, sweat still drying on his back from a long run, his phone buzzed with a notification. Instagram. Tagged photo. He almost ignored it, but curiosity tugged. One swipe, and his lungs hollowed out. There she was, Vanessa, her long auburn hair blowing in the wind, laughter caught mid-frame. She wasn't alone. The driver was Logan Pierce, her biggest client, a self-absorbed fitness influencer known more for flaunting sports cars than real discipline. His arm was slung casually across the back of her seat, fingers nearly brushing her bare shoulder. Above the image, in bold white letters, sat a single word: upgraded. No caption, no context, just that. And his name tag at the bottom. Michael didn't rage, didn't cry. He saved the post, downloaded it, and then calmly forwarded it to Vanessa's parents with one line. Thought you should see this. He didn't answer their calls or her mother's frantic messages. Instead, he opened the wedding spreadsheet they'd been building for months, deposits, bookings, the cathedral, the florist, and created a new tab. This one he titled Cancellations. That's how his revenge began. Not in shouts or slammed doors, but in precision. Because Michael knew what Vanessa hadn't considered. She hadn't just betrayed him privately. She had staged her betrayal in public, as if humiliating him were part of the performance. And if she wanted to make their downfall a spectacle, he would make sure the ending was unforgettable. Michael didn't sleep that night. Not because he was drowning in grief, but because his mind was alert, alive, running calculations like an engineer solving a problem. The betrayal wasn't just about Vanessa laughing in another man's car. It was about the pattern that had been unfolding for months, the little cracks he had ignored in the name of love. He remembered the first shift clearly. 4 months ago, Vanessa's job as a brand strategist had brought Logan Pierce into their lives. Logan wasn't subtle. He had a way of hovering too close, his smile dripping with the confidence of someone used to taking what wasn't his. At first, Michael dismissed it as part of the business. But then came the excuses. Late meeting with Logan, she'd murmur as she slipped into their apartment near midnight, perfume clinging too heavily to be casual. Her wardrobe had shifted from business casual into revealing athleisure and curve-hugging dresses she claimed were just for campaign shoots. Michael, patient as always, told himself it was work. She was ambitious. She was driven. But even patience has limits. The Thursday before that infamous Instagram post, Vanessa had told him she was crashing at her best friend's apartment because she was too tired to drive home. Michael hadn't questioned her directly, but the unease settled deep in his chest. The next morning, he sent her friend, Naomi, a quick text. Hope Vanessa didn't keep you up too late last night. The reply came fast and sharp. Haven't seen her in weeks. Everything okay? Michael's stomach dropped. He opened their joint bank app and scanned her transactions. One charge stood out. A rideshare drop-off at the Sapphire Crown Hotel, just 2 blocks from Logan's gym studio. Time-stamped exactly when Vanessa claimed she was exhausted at Naomi's place. He didn't confront her then. Instead, he screenshotted the receipt and tucked it neatly into a folder he named Evidence. Michael wasn't impulsive. He didn't storm into the hotel. He didn't scream accusations. He collected. He observed. He planned. Because Vanessa thought she was clever. Thought she could spin lies faster than truth. But Michael understood something deeper. Control wasn't about reacting. It was about rewriting the story before your opponent even knew the ending. By morning, gossip had already spread like wildfire. The photo of Vanessa and Logan was circulating among their social circle, with comments ranging from petty humor to cruel delight. Oof, tough way to announce an upgrade. The tea is piping hot today. Can't believe she did him like this. Michael didn't flinch. He archived every comment, every emoji, every piece of evidence. Then, he made one call, to his closest friend, Daniel Torres, a lawyer-turned-financial consultant who had been Michael's roommate back in college. Daniel's voice was steady. "One decision, Mike. That's all it takes. Make it, follow it through. Don't let her twist the narrative." Michael's reply was calm. "I already started." That day, Michael scheduled a meeting with Clara Jensen, a contracts attorney he'd worked with on a prior case. He laid everything out: the photo, the receipts, the timelines. Clara's advice was surgical. Don't speculate. Don't argue. Stick to the facts you can prove. The picture, the hotel, her absence. You have solid grounds to pull out of contracts and recover deposits. Keep every message professional. Michael had already drafted the notices. He sent them out one by one. The cathedral, the caterer, the florist, the photographer. Each received the same files: the Instagram screenshot, the timestamp caption, the hotel receipt. Each message ended with a single line: "Due to a breach of good faith by the other party, I will no longer be proceeding with the event." The responses were telling. The cathedral's coordinator went silent for a moment before saying, "We'll escalate this to the director." The photographer refunded the deposit in full, citing that the circumstances were unacceptable. The caterer promised 60% back. The florist, half. Even the string quartet, non-refundable by policy, waived their cancellation fee. By the afternoon, Michael had recovered more money than he expected. But Vanessa wasn't silent for long. Her parents messaged frantically. Her father, Martin, tried diplomacy. "It's not too late to talk this out. Don't make things messy." Her mother, Margaret, left a voicemail. "We need a family discussion." Michael ignored them both, replying only with, "Handling logistics first. I'll be respectful." At 3 o'clock, Vanessa finally called. He ignored the first, the second, the third. On the fourth, he picked up. "What the hell is wrong with you?" she snapped, her voice sharp, panicked. "Did you seriously send that picture to my parents?" "They deserve to know what you posted," Michael said evenly. His voice was calm, too calm. "Were you at the Sapphire Crown last Thursday?" Silence. Just the faint sound of her breath. "I'll take your silence as confirmation." He ended the call. For the first time, Michael realized something important. Vanessa wasn't just unfaithful. She was reckless. And recklessness was the one weakness he could exploit. The next evening, she barged into their apartment, still dressed in her polished business attire. She slammed the door, anger radiating off her. "We need to talk," she demanded. Michael leaned against the kitchen counter, arms folded. "Go ahead. That post, it's not what you think." Logan wrote the caption. "It was for engagement for the campaign. I didn't mean for you to see it that way. You tagged me, Vanessa. Why involve me at all?" Her eyes darted. It made the story more compelling. Her voice sounded rehearsed, like she was reading from script. "In the hotel." Michael pressed. She shifted her gaze. "We worked late. I didn't feel safe driving home. I slept on the couch in his suite." Michael didn't blink. "Vanessa, the engagement is over. I'll email you the details." Her expression hardened. "You're calling it off over a single post." "I'm ending it because you already ended it. Publicly. I'm just making it official." For a moment, she softened, her voice dropping to a plea. 3 years, Michael. You're really going to throw it all away over this?" He stood, closing the distance between them. "No, you threw it away. I'm just cleaning up the wreckage." Vanessa froze, searching for words, but none came. She picked up her keys and left without another sound. That night, Michael froze their joint credit cards, redirected his paycheck into a personal account, and began drafting a plan for dividing utilities and lease agreements. He wasn't just ending an engagement. He was erasing her access to every part of his life. And yet, beneath the cold precision, Michael felt something darker stirring. This wasn't just about separation. It wasn't even about dignity. Vanessa had made her betrayal public. His revenge, too, would have to be public. The stage wasn't ready yet, but the pieces were falling into place. Michael woke the next morning with the same calm determination he had the night before. His routine didn't falter. Coffee brewing at 6:30, a 5-mile jog along the waterfront, a cold shower, then a quiet breakfast of eggs and toast. To anyone watching, he was just a man going through his day. But inside, every movement was deliberate, every thought sharpened to a point. Because while Vanessa thought she had humiliated him, Michael was crafting a response that would slice deeper than she ever imagined. At work, Michael functioned like nothing had happened. His colleagues in IT joked about server crashes and deadlines while he quietly handled his tasks. But beneath the ordinary exterior, he was threading together strands of her lies. In the evenings, he expanded his evidence folder. Bank charges, screenshots of her late-night ride shares, copies of her sudden new clothing purchases, all documented. He even pulled data from their shared cloud account. Pictures of Vanessa at Logan's exclusive gym, captions suspiciously cropped to remove his presence. The more he found, the clearer the truth became. Vanessa's betrayal wasn't a one-time slip. It was systematic, planned. She hadn't just flirted with Logan. She had been living a double life, carefully managing her image while assuming Michael would remain the stable background character in her performance. But Michael had no intention of being her background character anymore. 3 days later, Vanessa returned, not with apologies, but with a folder in her hand. "This," she said, setting it on the counter, "is proof that everything you've seen was staged. Contracts, NDAs. It was satire for Logan's campaign. You're blowing it out of proportion." Michael flipped through the folder. Generic paperwork. Nothing linking her to innocence. Nothing explaining why she had tagged him in a post designed to humiliate. "You expect me to believe this excuse is a hotel stay?" Michael asked. His voice never rose, but each word cut. Her jaw tightened. "You're throwing away 3 years for optics. For how something looks. This is all in your head." "No," Michael said, closing the folder with finality. "You chose perception over respect. And perception, Vanessa, is all you're going to be left with." Her eyes flared. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means," Michael replied, "that you're about to learn what it feels like when someone controls the narrative." She left without another word. But Michael knew. She was rattled. That weekend, Logan Pierce's empire began to crack. Michael hadn't leaked anything himself, but gossip travels fast, and once the photo of Vanessa and Logan reached a local influencer blog, the fire spread. Fans accused Logan of faking drama for clicks. His sponsors pulled back. His merchandise sales froze. Vanessa disappeared from Logan's feed entirely, but by then the damage was irreversible. The campaign she had thrown herself into collapsed beneath her. Michael watched it unfold silently. He didn't interfere. He didn't gloat. He simply collected, archived, documented. He knew timing was everything, and his revenge wasn't finished yet. The next week, Vanessa reached out again. This time, her tone was softer. "Can we meet? Just to talk. Please." Michael agreed, but on his terms. A small cafe, mid-afternoon, where the crowd was thin. She was already seated when he arrived, her usual polished aura dimmed, her makeup smudged as if sleep hadn't come easily. "Everything's ruined," she whispered the moment he sat down. "You got what you wanted." Michael stirred his coffee slowly. "This isn't what I wanted, but it's what happens when you cross the line." Her hand shook as she clutched her cup. "Just one more chance. No Logan, no campaigns. Just us." Michael looked at her evenly. "We have different standards, Vanessa. I don't negotiate respect." Her voice cracked, desperation seeping through. "It was all fake, Michael. You know that. It was staged. You can't throw away 3 years for a mistake in presentation." Michael leaned closer, his tone dropping. "It wasn't fake when you stayed at his hotel. It wasn't fake when you tagged me for the world to see. And it certainly wasn't fake when you chose him, over and over, while I stayed loyal." Her shoulders sagged. "You're really ending this." "I'm not ending it," Michael said coldly. "You already did. I'm just signing the paperwork." They sat in silence until the check came. Michael paid without hesitation, then stood, leaving her alone at the table. But walking away wasn't enough. Not yet. The wound she left had to be sealed with something permanent. Over the following days, Michael finalized his plan. He began reaching out, not just to vendors and lawyers, but to people in Vanessa's own professional circle. Quietly, discreetly. He didn't spread lies. He didn't need to. He simply forwarded the evidence. The post, the receipts, the timelines. He framed it as context, letting each person draw their own conclusions. Vanessa had built her reputation on being trustworthy, strategic, a master of image. Now, her image was cracking, and Michael had simply pulled away the support beams. One evening, as Michael boxed up the last of his belongings from their shared apartment, Vanessa appeared at the door again. This time, she didn't look furious or polished. She looked hollow. You destroyed me, she said, voice brittle. No, Michael corrected. You destroyed yourself. I just didn't cover for you. Tears welled in her eyes. Do you even feel anything? Do you still love me? Michael paused. For a moment, memories flickered. The laughter they once shared, the quiet mornings, the plans of a future together. But then he remembered the image. Her leaning into Logan, laughing as if the world belonged to them, while tagging him like the punchline of a cruel joke. No, he said finally. I feel nothing. That's your legacy, Vanessa. You burn it out of me. She crumpled, but Michael didn't comfort her. He finished sealing the box, carried it past her, and walked out. From that point on, Michael's life became quieter, simpler. He secured a new apartment overlooking the harbor, mornings filled with runs, evenings with books or long calls with Daniel. He reopened his dating apps, but with no urgency. His life was his again, measured, peaceful, deliberate. Yet, deep inside, there remained one final act of closure he hadn't shared with anyone. That evidence folder still sat on his desk, encrypted and complete. He didn't need it anymore. Not for court, not for negotiations. But he kept it as a reminder. Because revenge, Michael realized, wasn't about shouting or violence. It wasn't about dramatic confrontations. It was about reclaiming control of the story, stripping away the mask of the one who betrayed you, and leaving them to face the consequences of their own choices. And Vanessa? She had wanted to upgrade. She had won an audience. She got both, just not the ending she planned. Michael thought he was done. The deposits were refunded, the apartment sorted, his paycheck safe in his own account. His life felt lighter. No more excuses, no more lies hidden under the blanket of love. But some betrayals leave a residue, and though Michael had moved forward, there was one thing still unsettled, the final word. Vanessa had humiliated him publicly. She had turned their relationship into a stage show, casting him as the fool in a play he never auditioned for. Quietly walking away wasn't enough. She needed to face what she had thrown away, and everyone who had cheered for her needed to see her downfall for what it was, self-inflicted. The opportunity came sooner than Michael expected. A month after their split, he received an invitation forwarded from a mutual acquaintance. Logan Pierce was hosting a launch event to rebrand after his public fallout. The event was smaller than his usual spectacle, but still filled with influencers, sponsors, and local press. And there, on the digital flyer, was Vanessa's name, listed as one of the strategists behind the campaign. Michael almost laughed. She was clinging to a sinking ship, trying to polish a brand already rotting. And he knew exactly what to do. That night, he opened his evidence folder one last time. Screenshots of her rides to the Sapphire Crown Hotel. The Instagram post. Her own messages contradicting her alibis. Carefully, he compiled a file. Not spiteful, not embellished, just cold, factual truth. Then he sent it, anonymously, to 3 journalists confirmed to be covering the event. He didn't need to add commentary. The evidence spoke for itself. The night of the event, Michael didn't attend. He didn't need to. His phone buzzed with updates anyway. First came the gossip site. Logan's relaunch backfires. Questions about professional conduct emerge. Then came the local business column. Strategist Vanessa Cole faces scrutiny after leaked receipts. By midnight, video clips surfaced online. Journalists asking Logan pointed questions he dodged clumsily, sponsors refusing to comment, and Vanessa caught in the background, her face pale, her expression cracking as the weight of the exposure hit her. Michael watched the clips once, then closed his phone. It was done. Days later, Vanessa showed up at his new apartment. Not uninvited. He had expected her. She stood in the hallway, shoulders slumped, mascara faint under her eyes. No folder, no rehearsed excuses this time. Just defeat. You ruined me, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Michael looked at her, steady, unmoved. No, you ruined yourself. I just let the truth catch up to you. Her lips trembled. I loved you. I still do. He shook his head slowly. Love doesn't humiliate. Love doesn't sneak around. What you loved was the idea of control. Over me, over how people saw us. You lost that, and now you're here, not because of me, but because there's nothing left for you out there. Vanessa swallowed hard, her eyes glistening. For a moment, Michael thought she might argue, but no words came. She turned, walked down the hall, and disappeared without looking back. That was the last time he saw her. Michael's life didn't transform overnight. Healing wasn't cinematic, but each morning jog felt freer, each evening calmer. He booked that long-delayed trip to the mountains, sat by a quiet lake, and realized something important. Revenge wasn't about destruction. It was about liberation. Vanessa had once framed their story as an upgrade. She thought she was stepping into something better, brighter, more glamorous. But in trying to upgrade her life, she had downgraded herself into nothing. Michael didn't need to gloat. He didn't need to look back. He had taken the power she tried to steal from him and rewritten the ending on his own terms. And sometimes, he thought, that was the best revenge of all.